Warning. In the following episode, issues regarding sexual assault will be mentioned as part of this week's film review and coffee thought. Listeners who are sensitive to these issues are advised to proceed with caution. May I have your attention? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coffee Nick's Movie Picks, a freshly brewed coffee and movie review podcast for you. My name is Nick Delaney, and I'm your show host, lover of coffee with a fun little twist, cynical movie snob, and the guy who thinks trailers should last 10 minutes tops before the movie. Don't waste my time. No, I don't need to see Quiet Place Day 1 trailer for the 35th time. No, I don't want to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes trailer either. Please, just show me Alien Romulus, Nosferatu, and maybe Maxine. That's enough. Thank you. That's enough. Today I am joined by an extra special returning guest, and we will be discussing Kinds of Kindness, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. But first, I'll be reviewing Ironclad Coffee Roasters Espresso Virgineola. Please take a seat, stay a while, and let's talk Farming Simulator over some coffee. Get your hose out. Garden hose. Get that John Deere tractor, put on them overalls. Yeah, because we're going to the farm. The simulated farm. But first, and always but first, please be sure to follow at Coffee Nick's Movie Picks on Instagram and TikTok. There you can stay up to date on new releases, see coffee pictures that go along with each episode, get some quick movie thoughts from yours truly, and submit Dear Coffee Nick letters. Again, that's at Coffee Nick's Movie Picks on Instagram and TikTok. Now, we're doing a quick check-in today. This is a rapid check-in. I want to make sure you all are doing well, but we have to, brief, bright, gone. We have some things to do today. We have a lot to discuss. We do discuss a lot because I'm recording this after everything was discussed. So I know there is a lot that will be discussed pretty shortly. Yes, I don't record this chronologically. Isn't that crazy? Usually I do, but when I have a guest on, it's sometimes out of order. So I also, for this episode, recorded multiple endings. And in that sense, I recorded multiple reviews for the movie because I honestly do not know which one I'll end up picking. That's the kind of vibe we're going with. But I want to say, this is my first talking point of this episode. I am forcing myself, I'm trying so hard to upload, to create, to execute, posting TikToks almost every day. I'm trying to appeal to the kids. I'm trying to give them something to do. I think TikTok is a great way to promote brand awareness. So yeah, I'm trying to make TikToks every day, trying to ride that algorithm. And it's been so hard. I'm not a TikTok girly. It is really not my thing. I really do not like super short form video content. I don't like what it's done to media. And I talked about this. Oh, yeah, that reminded me of something I want to discuss too. But you should really follow my TikTok. I'm putting so much work into it lately. I'm doing rapid reviews on there. So movies that I watch that I don't have a full length episode on here for, I have a rapid review video on TikTok. And I'm also making just funny little joke videos. So you should check it out. I think a lot of people are enjoying those videos, so hopefully you will too. I'm at least having fun with it, but it is a challenge for me to force myself to do those. Speaking of that, the last episode, I mentioned that with Inside Out 2, that I can imagine it kind of just on TikTok now. I think the attention span that Inside Out 2 caters towards is the TikTok attention span, if that makes sense, because that was such a fast paced movie. And on the last episode, I said that I could see it on TikTok, and I have already. I have seen Inside Out 2, the full movie, being live streamed on TikTok at least 3 times now. At least 3 times. I'm not going to say I called it because I feel like it was a given, but yeah. So I saw that. I was just gagged by that. And you know what I did? I reported every single live stream. Yeah. Yeah. One thing Coffee Nick does not do is pirating. That's not right. That is not right. That's a little sick. So yeah, I reported all 3 live streams. Yes, I did. I reported that to TikTok moderator, TikTok.com, whatever you call it, HQ. You've been reported by Coffee Nick's Movie Picks podcast. Copyright infringement. Check. Yeah, that's right. I have been hard at work on some very special episodes that are coming up in July. We might be seeing some double features. We might be seeing some special guests, or we might be just seeing our regularly scheduled programming. But one thing I can guarantee is that coming in August, there is a very special and intense series on the way. I know I've mentioned this several episodes now, but I'm going to keep bringing it up until it is released. There will be more to come on that later this month. Please be sure to be following the social media at Coffee Nick's Movie Picks to find out more when I'm ready to say more. But I'm very excited about that. It is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much work, but luckily I think work will be less busy in August, so I will have time to really get this out. It's going to be a lot of content, so this is going to be your go-to podcast in August. All right. That was my super brief how are we doing moment. So let's get right into this week's Now Brewing. Now Brewing is a luxury coffee discussion and review segment. Now Brewing in today's episode is the Espresso Virgineola from Ironclad Coffee Roasters. Now, what is that? Espresso Virgin Water? Who's virgin? Huh? The Virgineola. All right. This drink is made with Ironclad Coffee Roasters, Bare Knuckle Espresso, Bermuda-style ginger beer, and freshly cut navel orange zest ribbons, garnished with a house-made ginger and citrus cookie. Huh? So this is like an espresso tonic, but instead of the tonic, it's ginger beer, and there's some orange zest, so it almost reminds me of a Moscow Mule with orange in it. Espresso tonic meets ginger beer meets old-fashioned moment. That is crazy. And so, once I saw this, I knew I had to get it. So Ironclad Coffee Roasters kind of describes a little bit about like what this drink means. So this is directly from them. It's from their Instagram. I took it from there. So Ironclad says, Virgineola refers to the original name of the English settlement on what is today known as Bermuda. No indigenous population existed when the English ships landed on the archipelago in 1612. They so named it because it was seen as merely an extension of the Virginia colony established at Jamestown, only 5 years earlier. So Bermuda was once Virginia. The more you know. So this is paying homage to Virgineola, it seems. I went to the Short Pump, Virginia location, and as the special guest and I discovered when we both ended up at the wrong coffee shops from each other, there is a second location in Richmond, Virginia, downtown. I highly, right away off the bat, I highly recommend going to this place. These drinks are, I say this a lot, but these drinks are genuinely so unique. This is some of the most unique coffee beverages I have ever seen at a coffee shop. And all of them are garnished, it seems, with like a cookie or a sweet treat of some sort, which I also really loved. And I actually have never seen that before, so I really liked that. And all of the garnishes are, of course, paired to match the drink. So this Espresso Virgineola was paired with a ginger and citrus cookie. And I guess to start with that, the ginger cookie was delicious. I am a huge fan of gingerbread cookies. This one was not only just like a perfect gingerbread cookie, not super like, you know, hard. I feel like sometimes they have very stale consistency. This was soft, it was light, and it had a lovely citrus aftertaste. And that paired perfectly with this drink. This drink, what I described, the Bermuda style ginger beer, navel orange zest ribbons, and the espresso, it pretty much tastes exactly like those three components. I will say it was very harsh. This drink is very harsh. I thought this drink is very cool. I really admire what this drink was going for. I just think it could have been fine tuned a little bit more. Pairing ginger beer and espresso, that is already like a risk, I think. I feel like the espresso you need to pair it with kind of needs a bolder, darker flavor. It needs to be more rich and creamy because this espresso, I haven't had it by itself, but it kind of was very acidic. So pairing that with ginger beer and citrus, these are just very acidic flavors we're working with. The orange zest flavor was also very heavy. It really didn't feel like just a zest. It almost feels like there was orange flavor put in this. I don't know if there was or not, but just all three components here were very strong flavors. And I almost kind of lost the espresso sometimes. Maybe the one thing that could have balanced out this drink more was a splash of creamer. I'm not a creamer type of person. I actually appreciate that this drink was an option that had no dairy. But when you have so much acidic flavors and everything, sometimes you need that creamer to kind of round everything out and bring like a nice balance to the palate. Because this drink was spicy. And I knew that going in. Ginger beer, it's a very spicy ingredient. My throat was burning, which I loved, but it was very spicy, very zesty, and yeah, just a bit harsh. But every other drink here looked just as unique and just as lovely, and also had a really interesting garnish. All of their pastries here also looked delicious. Their breakfast sandwiches looked delicious. Their pastries looked delicious. And just based on the cookie I had, I assume the rest of the things are really good as well. So I 100% encourage you to go here. The Espresso Virgineola, I don't think it's for everyone, but I'm sure there are people out there that love this drink. I don't know if it was for me. I'm going to be honest, but I really appreciate that this drink was an option. I think, A+ for having this idea, so unique. And this is just one of those coffee places that you have to go to more than once. You have to try many things from here. So I will absolutely be coming back and trying more. But for this drink specifically, and just based on my opinion and my experience with it, I think I have to give it the Nick Mix. I think, the flavors were just too harsh. It wasn't necessarily rounded out well. And I kind of lost the espresso. But yes, try this place out. It was really cool, and they had some amazing looking drinks. And you know what? Coffee place garnishes their coffee with little pastries. That is so cool. I will be coming back to Ironclad Coffee Roasters. Okay, I think it's time to welcome this episode's very, very special guest. He's been on this show before, but just on a bonus episode, so I thought it would be time to welcome him to a full-fledged episode where we can just talk it out. Once again, we're recording this straight from his car, but I brought my good microphone this time, so we do not have shitty iPhone microphone quality. This is a soon-to-be master in music education, a film lover, an AMC A-list pass holder, a Nicki fan, Nicole Kidman that is, and he plays the saxophone, or is it tenor sax? Is there a difference? There is a difference. No? Okay. Welcoming back to the show, please everyone make a warm welcome for Reese.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I like all those things. Tenor sax is a saxophone.
It is.
So it was like you were saying, like it's like an Aldi is a car.
Is Aldi a car?
No,
is that a car?
No, Aldi's a wait, no,
grocery store.
Oh yeah, Audi. Thinking Audi.
Oh, Audi.
Yeah. No, tenor sax. It's just one of those sizes.
Okay, so it's like they're all saxophones, but tenor is the more specific type.
Yeah, so there's
So you're
different
saying like
voice sizes.
right? It'd be like that would be like if I was asking, do you drive a car or an Audi?
Well, more so like, do I drive a car or do I drive like a truck? Because a truck's a car.
Okay, I
It's just
see.
a bigger car.
Do they make different noises?
Pitches.
Pitches.
Well, like
Okay.
range. If you think like a big piano, the soprano sax will play on like the high side of the piano,
Right.
and then the alto sax will play like here, and then the tenor sax will play a little lower. It's like voice types,
I see.
like a high pitched voice, low pitched voice.
Okay.
Yeah, but I like the
See.
tenor sax. Yeah, it's probably my favorite.
Now, you played for your at Christopher Newport University, my
Yo,
alma mater.
go Captains.
Roll caps for sure. We had Paideia, which was a research conference that was exclusively for CNU students. You performed a piece at Paideia while I was still a student there, my senior year.
Yeah,
What was the name of that piece?
my
My. That, I think about that maybe every day.
really.
I do. I think that that was like the most, I'm not just saying this because you're here, like, this is how I feel. That is the most like unique and exquisite musical performance I think I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah, it like I did not know sounds like that could be made with a saxophone, and I wish everyone could have seen that performance and that piece because that is like I said, the most special instrument performance. I don't know the music terms. We all know this. I don't know how to talk about music, but like, a performance with just an instrument,
Solo.
a solo,
Yes.
yes. Ever. It was great. I think about it all the time. Not to quote Charlie XCX. You didn't listen to the album, but she says that. I think about it all the time.
I'll have to send a clip to you. You can put in the podcast notes.
Yes, I would love to do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could put it in like social media and tell people to
Yeah.
go over there and watch it. So y'all can see what this whole rant was about. What's been your fixation lately, Reese?
Ooh. Well, Nick, you know my favorite video game.
Farming Simulator.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely gotten back into it. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite, but for like simulator non I can put on like a podcast or a YouTube show and not feel guilty doing both at the same time. Like if I did that for a story game, I'd feel terrible, obviously.
Right.
But Farming Simulator, definitely good time. So I definitely have been getting back into that. The most recent entry is 22, which came out a while ago. But I got all like the expansions. They added carrots, farming carrots, and red beets. And they added more stuff you can do with forestry. So like you can like chop down trees, but now you can like further produce them like with different types of planks and like take them to like roller coasters and like build roller coasters.
Wow.
It's hard to explain, but like yeah, like 22's big input was production chains. So in the past, in like 19 and 17 were the older games, which is I started on 17. By the way, anyone's listening,
OG.
definitely started on 17. Yeah. And usually you would farm the crop, and then you would either just store it or sell it whenever you felt like it, and that was kind of the end of that cycle. But 22 added production plants, so instead of just planting wheat, waiting for it to grow, harvesting it, and then selling it, you can now take your wheat to a flour mill and produce it into flour. And then you can sell the flour, or you can take that flour to the bakery and produce it into bread and then sell bread. Or you can take the flour and produce it into cake, but you also need other stuff like eggs from chickens and then butter, which is from milk from cows. So you see how like you can really like do a whole lot more with it. So production chains is a big thing in 22. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. And the recent things they did was they kind of implemented more ways for forestry to fit into that with like construction zones or different manufacturers like piano manufacturing. Like you can take your
Right.
wood to make pianos or boats. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Does it run well on the Nintendo Switch? Because I saw you were playing it on there. I feel like this just Nintendo Switch is probably losing its breath.
So I don't. So 22 is not on the Switch. 23 is, but we don't talk about 23.
Um,
I play 20 on the Switch, which is like you know how like the Lego games had like the console port and then like the handheld port.
yeah, 2DS version.
That's kind of like what 20 is.
Um,
And I don't know why I was playing 20 so much. Yeah, I got in a kick where I was just playing 20 and I was like, why am I playing 20 when there 22 exists? But
I they have Batman. I know you like the Batman Arkham games.
yeah.
They have Batman Arkham Knight on the Switch,
Yeah,
which I do have.
It sucks, right?
It is like maybe DSi level
Ooh.
quality, and I would give it like maybe 15 frames per second it runs at. Uh,
See, I love that game. I love Arkham Knight.
But-
Love the whole trilogy, but
right. Well,
Yeah.
Trilogy no more. Trilogy no
Yeah.
more. That's something we could talk about.
Are you saving up for a MetaQuest 3 now?
I think my dad has one, so I'm like, yeah, I'm playing Arkham Shadow, which I like did a backflip when they announced it. No joke, I did a backflip, but I don't know. Part of me thinks, like, I feel like every game that comes out for the MetaQuest or any VR game is almost just a tech demo, really, and they've had a hard time like actually telling stories through that medium. So, they released like a full trailer and everything. And I was like, are they going to address the actual Arkham trilogy? Like, because Batman's dead. I mean, sorry, spoilers, everyone, but that game is like 10 years old at this point.
Almost.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I hope they do it right.
Well, Shadow, it's a prequel.
Oh,
It takes place between Origins and Asylum.
oh. Well, next topic, I guess.
Okay, real quick, I want to circle back to Farm Sim.
Oh, sorry, I cut you
No,
off.
it's okay. It's okay. I've been excited because earlier this week or last week on the Giant Software socials, which is like the main developer, they were like, "Big Farm Sim news, 8 a.m. this day," and we're all like, "Oh, so you're gonna announce a new one?" Like everyone in the community is like, "It's gonna be a new game." And yeah, we got Farm Sim 25 coming this November. Nick, they're adding apparently a bunch of stuff, but from what they've told us so far, they're adding rice, spinach, and for ranching, they're adding buffalo.
Wow.
Because for the first time in the main game, we're going to Asia.
Wow.
Farm in Asia.
Wow.
Which is really exciting because that's like a whole new type of environment, like landscaping, just a whole different type of system. In the cinematic trailer they put out, like we'll get to flood fields and do like that kind of like farming with irrigation. So very excited. Farm Sim fans are very, very optimistic right now.
Yeah, that's good. I can't believe they finally came up with farming in Asia. It took a whole team of writers to come up with that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not to disrespect.
I hear you. It's kind of like, yeah, come on, guys.
Yeah. But that's cool.
Well, it did take them a while to get John Deere's in the game. That was a whole thing.
Oh, really?
Because they have to get the license for the brands.
Uh-huh.
And John Deere was really hesitant. They were like, nah, no. And they're like, well, everyone wants John Deere because that's like the American tractor,
Right.
And yeah, they were really hesitant. They didn't get added till 19. I was playing 17 the other day, and I was like, where's the John Deere's? They weren't in the game yet. I totally forgot.
I feel like anyone listening to this that has never seen you before, they're probably imagining you to be so like wearing overalls with a straw hat, a piece of barley in your mouth, sitting on your front porch, rocking chair, watching cars pass by. you know,
Yeah, that's me.
I mean, I just described what you're wearing now. Um, yeah, but Reese, you have other interests other than farming.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, the saxophone,
Yeah.
and movies, which we're gonna talk about those.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else should we talk about. Anything else before we get into this coffee thought?
No, it's just good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah.
The last time I saw you was for Dune 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I hate how I was thinking about this. It feels like not that long ago, but also it's been almost 3 months.
Yeah.
No, almost four. So I hate how like much time passes, but it still feels like there hasn't been that much time. And it's like, I miss the days when it was like a few days passed by and I was like, dang, I haven't seen Reese in so long.
Yeah.
And now it's like a few months pass by and I'm like, oh, that wasn't that long ago.
Well, I call you every now and then and just tell you some random crap, which is fun.
It's nice. It helps kind of alleviate the pain there.
Yeah. I don't get to walk down the hall and bang on your door.
Oh,
Those freshman year days.
that was a long time ago.
Wild.
But
Wild.
Okay. Let's talk about and it's so nice to have you on. Thank you for
this is awesome.
All right, let's have a coffee thought. For those of you who don't know, the coffee thought is a segment dedicated to voice my many incoherent thoughts and opinions. Let's talk about audience. So, I think we'll talk about this a lot more in our actual film review today, but I want to talk about like just being an audience member or being a part of an audience, having these other people that you're sitting in a dark room with, also witnessing the same things on the screen. I am a big advocate on this podcast that you are entitled to your own interpretation, reaction, rating, and opinion of what you see. And I'm a huge advocate for feeling differently than others about a movie. But I also think it's important to like not feel pressured to feel differently and just have your opinion be the same as like the millions of other ones. Basically, just let yourself feel however you're feeling in the moment with the movie and afterwards, thinking back on it. So it makes me feel like a hypocrite when I say that sometimes I feel people are reacting the wrong way to a movie or they're reacting too much of one way and not the other way. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Reese?
I always like the quote of, the beauty of art is that it's subjective. That's the beauty of art. Without that subjectivity, art would be boring. But also, sometimes I want people to stop laughing.
Yeah.
Because it's weird. We talked about this on Dune 2.
Yes.
Because there was moments in Dune 2 where we were like, what are you doing? Why are you laughing?
Giggle fest.
Giggle fest, Dune 2.
Giggle palooza. Like, yeah, and so that's why I think this is the perfect coffee thought, because we were hinting on this discussion, and I think this movie we watched today, which is Kinds of Kindness, we had this same exact issue where I was like, yeah, some parts are meant to be funny, but oh my God, like nonstop and almost it felt forced laughter, which I don't know, maybe it wasn't, maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like there was scenes in the movie that we watched today that I was saddened by, that I was like distraught by, and then behind me people are cracking up like they're watching America's Funniest Home Videos. I was just very confused. Recently I've been calling you about a lot of my negative audience watching experiences.
Right.
A lot of people on their phones, a lot of people talking, vaping. It's like, what the heck's going on? But today, except for that one guy in the front row that was on his phone every now and then. I don't know if you saw him.
Right. I did. Yeah.
Bro, if you're listening, get off your phone. That is unexcusable to be on your phone in a film, I would say. To the extent of that's like, you shouldn't be doing that. That's the standard norm of,
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you went up to someone and said, "Hey, get off your phone during a movie," they'd be like, "Yeah, you're right, I shouldn't." Hopefully.
Yeah.
My point is, if you went up to someone and said, "Hey, can you stop laughing?" That would be weird.
Yeah, that's like, you are taking away the right to their reaction, which, it's funny because I talked about this on the Inside Out episode last week, where I was like, this movie did not give you the time to laugh, and I feel like it robbed you of any reaction, which I don't know if you felt differently. I know you really liked Inside Out too.
Whoa.
Or you liked it.
I'll say I liked it singular. I would say really liked it.
Okay, my bad. Back on track though. I was pissed off at that movie because I feel like it took away the audience's space to have a reaction. But for a movie, for Kinds of Kindness, and specifically our audience, I almost wanted the film. Oh, we're getting into the film review. I almost wanted the film to have more control on the audience's reaction. And I also, okay, back to the coffee thought. I think people need to go into the film just with less expectations, or clear expectations, really, because I mean, I remembered, like, looking back, I was like, I've heard this movie is a comedy, a dark comedy, maybe. So maybe that, like, gave people permission to laugh so much at it. Maybe if this was hyped up to be a drama, which I would argue is more of a drama, there wouldn't be so much laughter because people wouldn't really necessarily feel the permission to laugh. You know, an audience like this and a film like this puts me at a crossroads, because I really love to say, like, you have the right to your interpretation and your reaction, but also, like, oh my God, why are you laughing for the entire movie? And, like, parts where I, wanted to feel serious about it, I have, like, Chuckle McGee behind me, like, belly laughing.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, I think the one, there'll be a trigger warning at the start of this podcast, probably, because there was a sexual assault in this movie. And I think that was the one time there wasn't laughing, and thank God there wasn't.
Yeah, that was like the one, maybe the only time in the film where it was silent.
Yeah, so at least they had the awareness to not laugh at that part, but there were so many other, like, kind of disturbing parts, and parts that I think could be interpreted as somber or, like, really impactful, that were just, like, belly laughing, like, multiple people.
Well, the essay was very, like, blunt in the film, right? Like, It's like, this is clearly what is happening. But I interpreted other parts of the film to be kind of, where there's parts where there's, abuse, or
right,
psychological abuse, just like bad control interactions, where people are like, oh,
yeah, like Emma Stone's character could say, "Oh yeah, my husband's hitting me." Oh yeah, I'm like, what? Or, there was one point where Emma Stone, like, I'll just say she lost a lot of blood.
Yeah,
she passed out and like roaring with laughter.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, well, that's just the consequences to what happened. I mean, I guess consequences are the punchline in most jokes, but, like, yeah, that happens when you lose a lot of blood.
Yeah, it's tough because the movie is absurd.
It is. It's very absurd.
It's very absurd, and it's very, like, I do think Yorgos is trying to be like, this is whack, right?
Right.
But I don't think it's funny, in the sense of belly laughter. I personally just don't understand why people were laughing like that. I think there was one part in the movie where I saw you turn around to look at the people laughing,
Yeah.
and I turned around. I thought I was like, well, maybe they're just on their phone, like watching TikTok. Like,
I got to that
what?
point too. I was like, I turned around because I was like, maybe they're just like being chatty and like kind of playing around, being cute or whatever. No, no.
Yeah.
So maybe this is what I'm getting at. This discussion makes me feel very conflicted because everyone that listens to this knows how often I say, like, see it for yourself, feel the way you feel, just feel however this movie makes you feel. But, there's always the saying of when you're creating something, know your audience. But what if there was kind of like a reverse on that? And when you're consuming something, kind of like know your media.
Yeah, I see
You
what
know?
you're saying. This isn't a it's extreme, but this isn't like a Adam Sandler comedy,
Yeah.
you know?
Maybe what this is getting at is maybe being an audience member is kind of like a two-way street where like they are kind of catering something to us. So maybe we have to cater something to this movie and we have to like let this movie impact us instead of like coming to it with these expectations, which who knows, maybe these people didn't have any expectations. They just genuinely thought this was funny, but still, I just don't get it. I mean, maybe humor is very subjective too. Humor is an art form. Maybe this just, I mean, it clearly wasn't my type of humor. Um, yeah,
Do you think because we were amongst a movie theater audience, we were amongst that kind of reaction? An audience that just, yeah, it's a warm weekend. Let's go see a R-rated movie with Emma Stone. It was by the same guy that did that Poor Things movie that was weird and absurd.
yeah. Like, I guess, what if we saw this at a film festival? Like, what would that audience be like?
Yeah,
Versus, like, what was the audience like in Short Pump, Virginia?
that too. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the really weird thing about being in a theater, being in an audience, is that, like, you almost form, like, one identity. Like, oh, this is the audience that laughed a lot, and then there's two, like, super critical film goers and sitting right in the middle. Well, as like if we were sitting in like a film festival audience, like that would be like the super serious audience who, um, I don't know, was super stuck up and like didn't laugh at all.
Well, from what I've heard from people that have gone to this year's film
Mm.
festivals, like people that I watch on YouTube or listen to, those audiences aren't perfect either.
Yeah,
There's still some wackos and some people there, but
I think that this film was also such a strange next step for Yorgos to take. After Poor Things, it almost felt like a pendulum where he does one thing that's super this way, and then this next film is like the complete opposite direction to kind of like get as far away as possible from that other thing. Um, so that's the interesting thing. But I think we're done talking about the audience. Do you want to move on to the movie review?
yeah.
Do you think you're ready? Okay. All right. In this next segment, now showing our feature ideological film review and discussion, Kinds of Kindness. Kinds of Kindness is a story in 3 parts directed by Yorgos Lanthimos and starring Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Mamadou Afi, and Margaret Qualley. The first story is about a businessman working for a cult-like company who has fallen out of favor with his all-controlling boss. The second story is about a man who lost his wife at sea, only to have her mysteriously return with strange and subtle differences. And the third and final story is about 2 members of a cult searching for a woman with supernatural powers. All 3 stories focus on tales of power, cult followings, sex, and love. Ooh la la. All right. I mean, we've already been talking about Kinds of Kindness in the coffee thought and everything. And I mentioned how I thought this was kind of like a very polar opposite for Yorgos. What were your overall thoughts?
It was long.
Yeah, it almost felt like this could have been a limited series.
Wow. Yeah. I pulled up the letterbox just to maybe reference character names or whatever, but just I didn't realize until now 164 minutes. It's long.
Yeah.
It's a long film.
Yeah.
I will say I like the three. I like the idea of three short stories or three, standalone stories in one film. I thought it was really neat,
Mhm.
and to have essentially a shared core cast between the three. There was some actors that weren't in the other uh, stories, but I mean, you got your main six, main seven.
Yeah.
Um, it was neat. I thought that was really neat and intriguing from like an actor's perspective, um, and from a Yorgos, I guess, director perspective to get to kind of uh, put the three together. Um, but I did find myself asking, like, why is this not? Why are these three together? Why is this not three short films that were released in bulk on Hulu or
Right.
wherever?
It would have been Hulu.
Yeah, because Searchlight.
Yeah.
But what do you think binds the three together? Do you know?
I have a list. There's no idea that I picked up on that binds these three films together. Uh, but some common items I noticed were having a miscarriage,
Oh,
uh, hurting your foot,
oh.
omelets.
Wait. We're doing full spoilers, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Full spoilers. Wait, the foot. Oh, holy cow.
Yeah.
Wait, the third,
It was just the first and the third. In
and
the
then the
first
second
one,
one.
I don't remember anyone hurting their foot in the second
Oh,
one.
that guy got his foot amputated,
Oh, shoot, you're right.
and she maybe 8 feet. We don't really know what she was eating on that beach. Was she eating
Oh,
people?
yeah, I don't know. Uh,
I
I don't
interpret
know.
it as she was eating her colleagues.
Maybe.
I
Okay,
don't know.
so
And
that's
second one, I don't know.
feet, hurting your foot. What else was there? Just generally like sex.
Yeah,
Sex was a theme of this movie. That's one of the themes, I guess. Cults. I think there was a theme of like a cult. The first one we had like a kind of like very business corporate cult. The second one was almost like, I mean, the police officers, I guess, were a cult because Jesse Plemons got ostracized from them. And then the third one, we just had some like weird, like
religious water cult.
water cult.
Yeah,
What else was a theme?
power.
Power,
You
yeah.
know, I said to you when we literally walked out of the theater, like a lot of power and control dynamics. You know, and
Yeah.
people wanting to please others. That was huge
Yeah.
in all
Yeah.
three.
Um, just polyamory
Mm-hmm.
was like a huge thing in this. Just, kind of like having multiple partners and relationships, like sexual relationships were not clearly defined at all, or restricted, exclusive, however you want to say. All of these things, omelets, polyamory, cults, power. Would you say they tied together well, or were they just kind of repeated occurrences?
Hmm. I think it could have just been repeated occurrences for some of them. I'm sure the cult and the polyamory and the power dynamics, I'm pretty sure those were intended.
Yeah.
But stuff like omelets could have just been a coincidence. Could have just been Yorgos being like, what should they have for breakfast? Omelet.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know. I'd love to hear, Yorgos, come on the podcast.
Yeah,
Let's
please. I have
talk
some
about it.
questions. I have some questions. I think I would just want to talk to him about poor things though, but
Yeah.
um I okay, so all three stories did make me feel a particular way. They all kind of felt the same, but they were about very different things. The feeling was they kind of start by showing something that's very out of context. It goes somewhere completely different. So much so that you get confused, or at least for me, I got confused and I didn't even remember really what the original story was. And then all these different stories happening in this movie sort of blend together and get confused in my head. And then the very end, it goes back to that original story. Yeah, that's how I felt. So just very confused. Uh, and I wouldn't say any of the endings for these stories particularly satisfied me.
I don't know if they were supposed to.
Yeah, I'm not saying like satisfied, like they did what I wanted to do, but
Oh, I see.
they just didn't reach a conclusion for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back how each one of them ends. I did kind of like the ending of the third one. I thought it was ironic.
Yeah, I thought that was ironic too.
What is the second? Oh, the second one is.
Weird. Weird.
Do they have names? They did, and I forgot them. They all have titles, but I don't remember. They have title cards, remember?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Of
yeah.
each
Yeah.
of each story.
I think I meant the dogs.
Oh,
At the end, I was like, do the dogs have names?
well, I was thinking of it in like the sense of music, like in classical music, you might have a three movement piece, right?
Mm.
And sometimes those movements can stand alone. Sometimes even the composer will say, "Yeah, you can perform this one movement alone," but most of the time not. So, do you think any of these stories can stand on their own?
I think they did.
Yeah.
I think these felt very not connected to me. And I'm sure, yeah, there is something that connects all of them. That's why they are all in a movie together. But I don't really think any of them relied on another. I don't think they really benefited from being all in a movie together. I don't think they would have benefited being on their own. I just don't know.
Oh, it's a shame. You were really looking forward to this film.
I think I said in one of my episodes, I was answering a question from Max in Dear Coffee Dick. I'm pretty sure I said that this was my most anticipated film of the year. It let me down a little bit.
Oh, I was really looking forward to The Watchers, and that was
Yeah.
also a letdown. So
Sad girl summer so far.
save us, Romulus! Save
I know.
us!
Romulus, if you can hear us, please save us.
Did you like the performances?
Yeah. Okay. The one thing I will give to this movie, Yorgos compiled, curated, strung together a group of actors who would do anything for the Vine. I mean, this is a group of actors that they will do whatever it takes in front of a camera for the sake of art.
Yeah.
And they did do that. Never in my life would I have thought I would see Willem Dafoe's penis
Did
on
you
the
see
big
it?
screen. Yes, it flopped around when he was rolling over in bed.
I must have kind of
Zoned out.
Oh,
Dissociated.
I think I was looking away. I was like, yeah, I get the point.
No, my eyes were locked. I made eye contact with it. I mean, we've seen it all from Emma.
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons.
In a post Poor Things world, yeah.
Yes. Jesse Plemons got a little freaky on camera, which I never thought I'd see from him.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they all
Yeah.
got freaky.
I think who is our so we've got Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Willem Dafoe, Margaret Qualley, Hung Chow, and then oh, I'm so sorry, sir.
Joe Alwyn?
Joe Alwyn and
Oh, I don't know.
M. Afi
Mamoto?
Amodu. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. They were all great. Every
Yeah.
performance I loved. I mean, and they all played three completely different characters.
Yeah.
And they all felt very different.
Each one of Emma Stone's characters, I would say, was their own. You know,
Yeah.
each one of Jesse's, each one of Willem's. Really, really impressive. I think it's just really, really cool. And
Yeah.
obviously, they do that all the time. It's their career. But just seeing it back to back made you really think, like, wow, that's cool.
So the performances here were great. They were fun. You got to watch these actors do like crazy things. Do not go see this with your mom or dad. Do not see this with your grandparents.
Nope.
Um, the story, I mean, this is what we were just talking about, but I guess to address it directly, I didn't really know what to make of anything happening. Like I said, all of these stories started in a way that, just rejected context. You think you fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all that you did and what came before you.
Yeah.
Coconut tree, palm tree. That was a theme in
Yes.
That was another thing. Palm tree was a repeated theme.
Yes. Is that a thing? Is there a what did Willem Dafoe say? The animal that attacks palm trees.
That bug only attacks palm trees. What? um, you think you fell out of a coconut tree? This movie was so context phobic. I mean, even the stories at an individual level, I could not grasp by the end really what was happening, let alone the larger story that there arguably was. I don't know. I couldn't make anything of it. And really, if you did some heavy thinking on this, I'm sure you could come up with something. And there's various interpretations and everything. But this is one of those movies where I'm kind of like, what was there for us? Who was the target audience? What were we supposed to make of this? Um, what was Yorgos trying to communicate to us? Because really, it felt like a movie for him.
Yeah.
Which great. I mean, he gave us Poor Things, which I think is one of the best films of this decade so far. One of my favorite films of all time. So yeah, make a movie for yourself. I think that's the great thing about movies. But also, like, if it's not for me, I really can't say anything great about it.
Yeah. Man. Did you like the score?
I loved it. I think that the score was actually one thing that kind of like kept people at bay in terms of the giggles. I think the score was super like disorienting. It went along well, like when there was something kind of whack happening on screen, the score would follow along with that. So it complemented the movie really well. I thought it was unique. It was no Poor Things at all, but it was good.
No, I thought it did what it needed to. Yeah, the dissonance in the when the two notes together. I mean, it created a lot of tension.
Uh huh.
Um, and I was expecting there to be some diversity between stories in the score, but no. I mean, the composer chose to pretty much keep it all consistent, which made me think even further how the stories were connected thematically, but then left me baffled, unfortunately, because I'm still like,
Yeah.
neat exercise, Yorgo.
Yeah. It was like a little writing exercise.
I guess so.
It just was like very much a director's movie, um, by him and for him. And people have said that before, and I've gotten really upset. People said that about Beau is Afraid. I love Beau is Afraid. But this, I feel like it applies, and I agree. If someone said about this movie, I would agree with it. Yeah.
Still looking forward to what he's gonna make next, though.
Yeah.
And I probably should go back and do my homework, catch up on his earlier releases, everything pre Poor Things.
I think so too. Me too. I need to do that. Yeah, it makes me sad. I'm disappointed. But again, like there wasn't anything necessarily like incorrect or wrong about this movie. I mean, it was a high quality, like very professionally produced.
Yeah.
Technical aspects were all there.
Mm-hmm.
It had its flair. It was unique. The actors, I think, were the best part. The performances were great. These characters were zany and fun.
The color grading, like everything technical was like, yeah.
It's all there. And you know, I love watching crazy shit happen on screen. Like, I love that. I love that about this movie. I just did not love the movie.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say?
No, but go see it if it's even playing by you.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, as always, I have to say, go see this movie. I mean, everyone in our theater was, you know, in cahoots about it, so maybe you'll like it too. Maybe we just are too cynical these days. Reese and I are the little old men Muppets that just bicker at all movies.
If you do see it or you have seen it and you found yourself laughing a lot, you should message me because I'm curious why. I do want to know.
If you're listening to this and you were sitting behind us and laughing the whole time, I'm sorry, we just kind of ranted at you, but like, I mean, it confused me a little bit. It was distracting for me as an audience member. So I just want to know more. But also, maybe this movie just wasn't for me. I'd be curious, who was this for? Who is the target audience here? What's your rating?
Oh, I'm thinking I'm gonna do out of 5. I'm gonna do 2.5 severed thumbs out of 5. Yeah.
Yes. And I think
2.5 severed thumbs up out of 5. There we go.
Yeah, I have to clarify. I've never been so torn between these two.
So Nick, what are we giving it?
Stop, I don't know. Yorgos. Emma Stone, I love you. I love you, Emma Stone. I'm gonna have to give this one the Nick mix. While Kinds of Kindness does exceptionally well in its absurd creativity and performances, nearly every other aspect of this film is flat out confusing. It feels like little is left here for the audience to interpret, to enjoy, or to even comprehend, which makes this film difficult and confusing to be an audience member for. Yeah, that's what I have to say. Do you have anything else to say about this movie?
About this movie? Nah.
About other movies?
About other movies?
Oh.
Nick, let's talk about one of the best trailers I've seen probably this year.
I mean, I had full body chills. Like, I was electrocuted.
Yeah, and then and like Lady Gaga comes on screen. Joker 2, right? We're talking about Joker 2?
No, Reese. We are talking about, I cannot believe, Alien Romulus, of course.
Oh, yeah. No,
Joker
you're right.
2, come on.
We did get that trailer, though, and they were like, what the world needs now? No, Romulus? Oh my gosh.
Like, I was electrocuted, zapped, full body chills. If you are listening to this, I feel like you know Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I was talking to Reese about this. Alien is just sort of a figure, or it's a presence in the horror film genre.
Oh, yeah.
I think that the original Alien is one thing, but what kept being added to it has adapted it and made it become something completely different. Alien Romulus, to me, I think it has potential to out-alien the original Alien.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've seen in these trailers, it's going to outdo Alien at its own game. I mean, it is Alien. It's a part of the franchise. I'm saying that like it's a different franchise, but I don't know. It's just beyond the series, I think.
Well, first of all, that trailer, I had not seen it, at all. I think I had seen the teaser, like the first ever like footage we got on Twitter, and then I saw it on the theater screen. But recently, trailers have come out and teasers and stuff, and even stuff I'm excited for. I just haven't been watching. But if I see it in the movie theater, that's cool. And also, it's really good in the movie theater when you see it.
Yeah.
And I had not seen that, whatever you want to call it, extended trailer 2, whatever, of Romulus. And oh my gosh, it looks so good.
I mean, that is a good and the slow, you mentioned this, the slow build of the title card. I mean, the original did that. The original Alien.
If you have not seen it, they're building like the slogan, which is the tagline or whatever. In space, no one can hear you scream, and it's like, in space, no one can hear you, and then it just cuts out the sound, and you see a character like screaming, and as soon as the sound cuts out, everyone's like hairs stand up. Like at least me.
Oh my!
Like my hairs start standing up, and I am like have chills, and I'm just like, oh, give it to me now.
I don't think you noticed, but I actually levitated a few inches off of my chair when that happened, quite a bit. The person behind me pushed me back down in my chair. Show me to me, please. Show me to me, please.
Fede.
Rachel, give it to me, please.
Oh my gosh. My one worry though is Fede. Is Fede Alvarez?
Is he up to the task?
Because I didn't really care for Evil Dead. His Evil Dead.
That was a bad remake.
Yeah.
I remember I saw that with Evan, and we were like, this whole movie's a video game cutscene. With quick action or quick button commands.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that?
And then Don't Breathe, which was his other, in the trailer, you get the, from the director of.
From the sick and twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn.
No.
From the mid director, Fede Alvarez.
So I'm a little, a little wary. Fingers are crossed. Hopefully, we were talking about this beforehand, but hopefully Disney's keeping him in check. They're like, hey man,
yeah,
we need this. Because I feel like their Fox franchises, they've been
doing well.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, Searchlight is kind of different, but Searchlight movies, those eat. I mean, yeah. Kinds of Kindness, unfortunately, you did not in my book.
Nope.
But Searchlight movie, I mean, Barbarian, Poor Things, those, oh my gosh. All of Us Strangers. I know you didn't see that, but that one, oh my God.
Stuff I still need to catch up on. I mean, Fox and 20th Century in this new decade have really, I feel turned it around.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, Prey is amazing. I need to see that.
Yeah.
And and then Barbarian is one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
And yeah, we agree on that. And you're going to be back to talk about that with me.
Yes.
And Nope. Oh, we have a lot. We need to just have a podcast day where we record all of this. Yeah. 20th Century, you're doing great. Fox, you're doing great. I think Disney is doing good with that division, that branch. Yeah. Everything else, not too sure about. Lucasfilms, they're really not doing too great, but they're making Indiana Jones.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. All female Ghostbusters? What's happening? I'm going to say this I need to say this in complete, what is the term?
I don't know.
Complete confidence. Or,
okay.
Yes, I need to confide this information to you.
To me or to the rest of the podcast?
Both.
Oh, okay, sweet.
The Joker 2 trailer is so good. I love it.
Yeah, that's why I thought that's what we were talking about.
Please. No, I said in complete confidence.
No, I'm not bashing you. I mean, I was sitting there and I was like,
it's a good trailer. It's really good.
Yeah.
I don't think cinema and freaking out over the smile thing. I've said that on the Twin Peaks episode. Calm down. It has been done.
And I looked over at Nick and gave him a funny face when that happened in the trailer.
Yeah, and I very loudly was like, "Is this the director's idea?" Um, but as a diehard Batman fan and loyalist, that movie looks good. And I also am a diehard Lady Gaga fan. So, and just the creativity of just putting those characters into a musical setting, the colors, like I love how the umbrellas change colors from, you know.
I'm excited to see.
I'm excited.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see what they got. I'm a Joaquin Phoenix fan.
I love Joaquin.
You know?
Phoenix, yeah.
I'm sorry Napoleon didn't really work out, but I'm still a fan of you.
Back shots on Thanksgiving Day.
That was the theater too. Oh my gosh. I told Nick, I love my mom and dad, and I really do. And I was home for Thanksgiving, and they were like, let's go see a movie. Like, you like movies? I'm like, yeah, I like movies. Let's go see a movie. And they're like, let's go see Napoleon. Like, that's like an artsy movie, right? Like, and I get it. They're trying to, I love them. They're trying to appeal to me, you know, but, and even me, I was like, yeah, sure, let's go see Napoleon, you know, but I should not have watched that movie with my parents. Oh gosh.
I haven't seen it, so I don't even know how bad that experience was for you.
My parents and I laugh about it now. Like, I even told them afterwards, I was like, yeah, that was weird. And yeah, they get it. But literally, I was Homelander in that meme where he's just like sitting straight forward, watching like the movie or whatever he's watching, when Napoleon and Josephine are just in heat. Like, I was like, oh no. That was the same theater. That was that theater.
Really?
Yeah, it was at Shore Pump.
Wow. And then you had the Top Gun experience at that.
Oh my gosh, that Shore Pump is kind of cursed. I was telling Nick I hate the IMAX there because the sound is so poorly tuned and like calibrated. Like, it's so boomy. Like, I can't. And it makes me mad because I have had good experiences in that IMAX. I saw Quiet Place Part 2 in that IMAX, and I'm a big fan of Quiet Place. And it was perfect. It was like perfectly calibrated, great experience, great sound, great visuals. And so I went back for Top Gun Maverick with my family, and the oh gosh. My dad also too just has sensitive hearing, and it was brutal, and like you could hear the speakers like popping. Like,
oh gosh.
When it got too loud, and it's just like, no. And I went back there with my brother a couple times to see was it one of the Marvels? I think maybe Guardians 3. And it was still like that, and it was really, really annoying.
Movie theaters, like, I wish there was a movie theater that just I mean, there are movie theaters that do this, I'm sure, but just like had a care for like the art of projecting film, and just like really fine-tuned the settings. I really have no idea what goes into it, especially these days when, I don't know, do you just press a button and like of the file they send over to you? I don't know.
It's true. I don't know, but I mean, call me a Karen, but when I went to go see the Marvel movie and it was still like that, we obviously stayed till like the very end of the credits because it's MCU, and then on the screen popped up an IMAX thing that said like, let us know how the film was at www.imax/ blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. And so I took a picture of that URL and I went home and I like put a review that said, hey, you guys need to recalibrate this IMAX audio because it's like really bad. I feel like the speaker's about to blow up all of a sudden. And so I have not heard anything back from IMAX. And probably will never go to that auditorium again, unfortunately. Which stinks because that's like the closest IMAX here. And, you know, I want to see big screen. I got to see Joker 2 in IMAX, bro.
Right. Yeah. No, good for you for like sending something in. You know, I think some Karens are onto something. When they start harassing customer service workers, they are not.
No.
They did not eat. But some Karens, I'm of the very few where if they are respectfully, filing a complaint or voicing how something was wrong when they are paying for a service, that's when I'm like, good for them.
Yeah.
Because they are, in your case, you're being a good film goer, a good community member. You are saying like, hey, I paid for this service and it was not to the quality that was promised. Yeah, you should file a complaint. And I wish everyone did. I wish everyone complained, because that's how I'm actually be like, oh shit, something wrong is happening. So, if you're being a Karen and being respectful about it, keyword respectful, that's when I'm like, good for you.
Yeah.
You are in fact being a community member. You're serving a community.
IMAX asked me how it was. And then even afterwards, like we walked out of the auditorium and there was a Regal worker, and I just told him, I was like, hey man, I think like the audio is just not very calibrated very well. And he was like, oh, okay. But like I was just like hoping that maybe he would tell his boss that it would get sent up the chain. But
he said, we do not care.
Hey man, I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, I don't get paid enough. Nah. Oh well.
Oh.
How did we get on that track? I don't remember.
We're talking about IMAX.
Oh, just the funny experiences I've had.
Yeah.
Should I tell the Top Gun story?
Yeah.
It's funny.
Tell the Top Gun story.
Speaking of audience participation, audience behavior in theaters, when I saw Top Gun Maverick, I think the whole theater was kind of already on edge because of the sound, and I think a lot of people were excited because it's Top Gun Maverick.
And that was like the movies are back movie.
Yeah.
That was like, that got everyone back in the theater after COVID.
Yeah. There was this isn't this part of the story I wanted to tell, but like after we walked out, like there was like a bunch of like kind of like middle-aged women in like Top Gun like shirts that were like, oh my gosh, that was the best, and taking pictures. It's
that's
like
so nice.
It's like, hell yeah.
That's great.
Go movies. But no, we're in the theater, and I think it's like the scene where it is early on, but like it's a softer scene. It's not like a big jet scene. Like I think it's Tom Cruise is like talking to Joe Ham.
Yeah.
About like, he's like, oh, you're too old for this, blah, blah, blah. Like, no score, just people talking. So it's quiet. And then you hear, down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. And this old man, he's got his phone going off. Of course, he pulls it out of his pocket really slowly. He turns it on to see what's going on. Hits slide, puts it up to his ear. What do you want? I'm at the movies. I'm at the movie theater. Something like that. People start going shh, shh. He like says a couple other stuff and then he puts it away. But it's just funny. Sometimes my family and I would just go, I'm at the movies.
Just like he woke up and took his I don't give a fuck pills. Like answering your phone at the movies in the theater, like not even walking out to take the call. With your phone on, like no do not disturb, no silencer turned off, like
full brightness.
Like woke up and took his I don't give a fuck pill. Where is he today? Let's get him on the podcast.
I know, right? I wonder what he thought of Kinds of Kindness. That's my question.
I cried for the entirety of Top Gun Maverick.
Really?
I was teary-eyed or crying the whole movie, I think.
Were you... Do I remember right that you were kind of like hesitant to see it? Like you were kind of like, I don't know.
I don't like the original Top Gun.
Yeah.
But Top Gun Maverick, it was just like what... it's just one of those movies that I feel like united people, and it was something like... It was like generational, I think. It was so beautiful. Chills.
Yeah.
It's corny, but it's just like one of those, like, I kind of like film theater love stories, I think, was definitely Top Gun Maverick, where I just think it was something everyone could get behind, and it was for everyone. It was just, it's a beautiful movie. it was a beautiful theater going experience.
Yeah.
I think is more specifically what it was.
And it was in theaters for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, not 2 years, but like a good long while.
I remember like into late fall 2021, was that? Two. Into the late fall, it was like still showing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, it made like a more $1 billion. Oh,
yeah.
Which is great. It deserved it.
Especially that Gen X crowd. Like I remember running into like my friends' parents at the theater and like, you know, just like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you since, you know, high school, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, what are you here to see? And they're like, oh, Top Gun Maverick. I loved the original, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, heck yeah. Welcome to the movies.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Thank you so much for coming on. It was so lovely to have you. I, as always, love to hear your insights. You are so fun to conversate with about movies, but I've already known that. So yeah, thank you for coming on. It's been lovely.
Yes, thank you so much.
And I have you scheduled, sent you the Google Calendar invite for Barbarian and Nope podcast recording.
Yes.
So
are we doing them back to back?
I think we might have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not like a double feature, but we'll record 2 at once and then, yeah.
What if, here's another one, X retrospective with the whole trilogy.
Oh,
that could be good.
yes. And we saw X together in your dorm room.
You had watched it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I saw Pearl. That was a wild day because you had just watched X and then I came over to your apartment and we were like, let's go see Pearl.
Oh, right. And you saw Pearl without seeing X.
Yeah, I saw it like the chronological
yeah.
order and you saw the theatrical order.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to see Maxine together.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's on our schedule.
Okay, yeah.
I think I'll be free. July 7th?
This weekend. Yeah.
Wait, I'm not doing anything this weekend. Yeah.
Yo! Maxine!
Yeah, okay.
I'm a fucking movie star.
I'm Maxine fucking Minx. Okay.
I know the lines.
We already have so many good lines from this one, don't we? Thank you for being on here. I cannot wait for our Maxine X Pearl episode. I'm so excited. A triple feature? What? Me when Emma Stone held up that knife to her thumb. Please, I'm a star.
That was, ooh.
Me when Emma Stone freaked Willem Dafoe. Please, I'm a star. Oh, no. Oh. Enough. Once again, Reese, I would like to thank you so much for joining me on this episode, and I cannot wait to have you back very soon. And thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Coffee Nick's Movie Picks. If you like what you heard, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Follow the show's accounts on social media and share the show with your friends. Until next time, I'll be getting full body chills over the the Alien Romulus trailer. I will see you then. Thanks again for listening to Coffee Nick's Movie Picks. Our opening theme is Summer Solstice on the June Planet, and our closing theme is I Feel It All So Deeply, both songs by Bail Bonds. Before you go, please be sure to follow the show on social media at Coffee Nick's Movie Picks, and give the show the Nick Pick by rating it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Thanks so much.